On April the 6th, Vladimir Putin signed 2 laws on the so-called support of military personnel and their families who are fighting against Ukraine. The first law provides for the exemption of military personnel from paying interest on consumer loans and for credit holidays. The second includes changes to the Russian labor code and prohibits employers from firing widows of Russian military personnel within 1 year from the date of their husband's death.
The Kremlin has likely instituted these laws in hopes of appeasing Russian service personnel, financially incentivizing more recruits to join the fight in exchange for state benefits, and to limit criticism from the wives of deceased service personnel. UK Ministry of Defense on social network X.
This is not the first time the Russian authorities have tried to bribe future military personnel who will go to the war against Ukraine. The count is primarily that those mobilized will get killed at the front and no one will take their bodies. And then the only thing left to do is recognize the people as missing, and there is no need to pay the promised millions to the families of the dead.
Conscription of men aged from 18 to 30 years is ongoing. There will be an expanded number of them, and they will try to recruit most of these conscripts, if may say so, to sign a contract for military service. They will, under one pretext or another, force conscripts to sign enslaving contracts that will not allow them to survive and return home.
In September 2022, Putin sent a decree on partial mobilization, and since then mobilization in Russia has not actually stopped. On March 1, 2024, the Russian dictator sent an annual decree calling up Russian citizens in the reserves for military training in 2024. The timing of this training and the number of people who will be called up are classified.
Military training in 2024 may become the largest in the last decade in terms of the number of men involved. Top managers of several enterprises located in the west and north of the Moscow region told the Moscow Times. This region is the second largest in Russia after the capital, with a population of about 9 million people. From an article by the Moscow Times.
Basically, holes in the personnel of the Russian troops are closed by mobilizing enterprise workers. Military commissariats of the Moscow region have already begun sending out letters to the heads of enterprises demanding to provide lists of employees who are subject to the law on military training and do not have an exemption. Military commissars anonymously told reporters that it was necessary to gather all those liable for military service for training in mid-June for 2 weeks. Such a call could paralyze the work of many enterprises in Russia.
Putin will use cannon fodder to promote the seizure of new territories of Ukraine, attempting to seize them. Indeed, today Russia doesn't have a combat-ready army. They can only wipe out cities with missiles, drones and artillery shelling. Therefore, apparently the Russian Ministry of Defense, together with the planners of the genocide of Ukraine, are simply trying to crowd the battlefield in Ukraine with a mass of Russian soldiers.
Also, women from penal colonies are being recruited for Russia's war against Ukraine. First of all, they are looking for medics and snipers, but if desired, they are also taken into assault squads. Prisoners are promised money and amnesty. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.